What's up, boys? Back out here. Have been doing some more research, and I talked to Jared, just going over some more of this startup map stuff. Hopefully we get figured out today. So a lot of this is gonna have to do with like these two maps, which I was more worried about these maps. This, I guess, is your initial fuel burst on start, like as soon as you crank. Only while the key is cranking, this is how much fuel you'll get, which works on top of this map. So this right here, you know, this was up a little bit higher. I brought this all down just a little bit off right before I started recording. But you see you got your temp right here. Once it's up in like 150, I pretty much don't want any fuel on while it's cranking. So I'm actually gonna bring that down just a little bit more. And then this, I honestly don't understand 100%. This has to do with this map and your throttle, but it's the crank inject time. I think this is how much your injectors put out on top of this map or below this map. Since I only got 800cc injectors, I don't think I need to be all the way up at like 7,000. So I'll bring that down to 6, then we'll bring all this down. We'll bring it down to 12. Now I gotta let it start and warm up and then see where I'm at. Still cranked a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I think it's actually better than it was. I'm right at 12. That's better. Before I was right at 10. I'm heading in the right direction this time. Alright, let this thing warm up. I'll bring you guys back. She all warmed up. She started a lot better today, so I'm feeling good. And I'm in a lot better mood today too, so that probably helps. Okay, what's my operating temp at? 178. Let's see how she starts. She wanted to. I think this all needs to go down a little bit more. Let's see if that helps. Boom! Woo! Alright, I kind of got it figured out. That probably still needs to go down. What are my AFRs? They're good. They're at 14. Okay. It's all about this crank injector time, like Jared told me this morning, and its initial crank pulse. It might need to go up a little bit, to be honest with you. Woo! That's the best it's been, boys. That is the best it has been. Alright, one more time. See how that works. Okay. Woo! I'm excited. Just took Jared kind of telling me what I needed to do and me watching some more videos and listening to a couple of you guys. I think 8,000 is going to be where I'm at to get this warm start going. I want to try to get it where I don't have to press the throttle, because now you make fun of me in the comments if I'm 100% wrong, but this map moves when I hit the throttle, so I think it's giving it a percentage more the more I hit the throttle. So I turned this all the way down, so if I go over like 60% throttle, it doesn't flood it. It's starting. I'm feathering the throttle to get it to start, but it's starting. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, I'm so excited. You guys don't even understand. Alright, I'm gonna let this thing run for a little bit. I'll bring you right back. Like I said before, I don't want to just keep starting this thing. Dude, I am so excited that I finally, like, kind of figured this out. I'm gonna have to do plugs again, but that's all because of me trying to do this. I'd rather have fresh plugs when I hit the dyno. What I was misunderstanding, this warm-up enrichment map I thought did like everything and just told it how much fuel to give and all this other stuff, when it's mainly these two maps are your initial crank, 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 boom. So that I still don't really understand what this crank injector time is. I think because it moves when you hit the throttle. So I still gotta play with that some more. This, I think I need a little bit more fuel on startup now. And we're just gonna keep playing with it today until I get this perfect, because you just play with these two maps to get that perfect initial. I don't want to have to put any throttle in. I want it to just be like a normal car. Turn the key, crank, crank, boom, running. I want my startup to be perfect. I'm weird. You guys know I want everything to be dialed in perfectly. So that's what I want. I don't want to have to be like, oh, I just got to tap the throttle a little bit. I don't want to have to do that. I want everything to just be like an OEM car. Let's see how this goes. Just messing with that just a little bit more. Right there, I had to give it a little bit more throttle. I turned this initial down, but once I see it's a little rich, I can smell fuel. Okay, I'm just gonna keep playing with this. I'll show you guys my perfect setup. It's probably gonna be a couple hours, it'll only be a second in your world. I don't want to keep just starting it, so every time I start it, I let it run for like 15 minutes, give it a couple revs, just clear it all out. I don't want to have like cylinder wash like I talked about in the last video. But it's all about these two maps. Jared said it, and I watched a couple videos of other tuners, and it's just mainly these two maps are all about your crank, crank, boom. I feel like I've said it multiple times. This is how much your initial fuel is. It's initial crank pulse. So this is way up. Your injectors will pulse a bunch of fuel. This injector time, maybe it's how long they run, but it also moves when you hit the throttle. So like I can have it tapered up, and when I hit the throttle, it'll give it more. I'm starting to learn it a little bit better. It's just like one of those things, once you actually like learn and understand how stuff works, it's like not that hard, I guess. I mean, I'm still not 100%, but where I was like messing up is that this crank inject time, I believe, is these numbers over here is how much your injectors work. This right here is how much percent of throttle you get. So these first two dots, you kind of want a dramatic thing. Like a lot of times, like I don't know how well you guys are able to see, a lot of people with like big injectors will have that all the way down to like 1,000. I got mine at 5,000. See, I can move it for you. Some people will have it all the way down like there, and then the first dot gets them all the way up to like 10,000, and then that is the room that you got to work in with your injectors, working on the very first startup. So I don't need to be that low. From what I was looking in, if you have like 500cc injectors, 3,000 is usually where you want to be. I got 800, so I'm gonna do 5,000 up to, it seems to actually want to crank and boom and start right around like 8,100 to 8,300. So this one I got the 8250, and this one jumps up to 83. So if I do give any throttle input, it'll just give it that little bit more oomph of fuel, but not that much. But this was way up there. If you remember before, it was way up there in like 18,000. So it was just punching way too much fuel on that initial thing. Like this was down to 7,000, and then the next dot was up to like 18,000. So the lowest the injector could run is 7. I don't really understand the MS or NMs, but it's the same thing as like your fuel map. Like you come over here and you look at your fuel map. Like so, like I idle around like 2.7. So let's just say when it's wanting to start, before it was dumping fuel up that 7, all the way up to 18,000. I'm not doing a horrible job explaining this. Let's see how it starts this time. That was no throttle input. So it's getting there. I just don't want the crank as long as that. So I think I got to shorten that window up a little bit. Like I said, it seems to be right around 8. Which I just talked to one of you guys on the phone a little bit ago, and you were saying put a manual one of these in to control how much your fuel pump's running. I can do that right here. it's getting so much better. I'm so excited. You guys don't even understand. I don't even know what this video is going to be about. It's pretty much just part 2 of the last video you guys just seen. Because I thought I understood it more than I did. I figured I was going to come out here and get it perfect, and then I was going to go drive it. But it's been like 5 hours. I mean, just going, like, I haven't been sitting here just cranking it constantly for 5 hours. I like stopped, ate lunch, did a bunch more research, talked to Jared on the phone, talked to one of you guys on the phone, messaged another one of you guys, watched a couple other videos, was thinking about signing up for that class that one of you guys mentioned. I thought about that before too. Alright, this is the last time I'm going to try to crank it and start it. There we go. It's cranking, baby. Alright, boys, well, I think that's gonna be on this one. Warm start. Pretty much dialed in as much as I'm gonna be able to do it. Jared will fix up some more once it's on the dyno and stuff. I'm going to like work on some other stuff where like it's like mid-range. Like, you know, the car sits for a little bit for like 10-15 minutes. Like if I ran the gas station, you know, it might drop back down to like 150 or 140. I want to make sure all those levels are alright. Just try to help Jared out as much as possible, so when we go to the dyno, it's pretty much just dyno, instead of him sitting here having to finick with every little thing for hours. So I will see you guys in the next one. Dyno day is coming a lot sooner than I even thought. See ya.